I smell a bacon body wash.
I had a few dogs follow me in this morning, so you know.
That's awesome. And now I know you've got the big table tent back there. Stop by and see them. What is this? I didn't even open this up.
This is it's a commemorative T-shirt for our gunship product line, our 530F gunships. So it's a cool shirt. If you have kids, they'll love it.
That's awesome.
Or if you're like me, a kid at heart, you'll love it. So.
That's great. What did you think of that little plug Senator McCain gave you?
Yeah, he wrapped us in there with the big Boeing guys. That was very nice of him to do that. So yeah, it's good. He's a great supporter. We work very closely with Senator McCain and his group of guys. We work around the world. They help us a lot. As, by the way, does the chamber here in Mesa. So they have a far-reaching reach out to the world. So they've helped us around the world, which you wouldn't expect here from Mesa. So it's been great. That's
great. Now I know that. MD Helicopters is a really long history. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, MD goes way back to Hughes Aircraft, and in the early 80s, those of you that were around remember that Hughes moved their Apache, and the senator made reference to the Boeing Apache. Well, it was Hughes Aircraft in those days, and they built the Apache here in Mesa, and a few years after that, they moved what is today MD Helicopters, which was the commercial helicopters and our light attack gunships here where we live today on the north side of Falcon Field. So it's a really long history with the city. And when they went about moving it, and I was just getting out of the Air Force in those days, I actually interviewed with Hughes to come to work there. And they were really looking at Mesa because they looked for great flying weather. They looked for a city that had just a great support for industry and aviation. And of course, Mesa in the Valley has a great history of that. And so they chose Mesa, and it was a great choice. Wound up being just a really great choice for the company, and it's been a great choice for MD Helicopters as well.
Well, I know MD Helicopters, people use those for a lot of different things. What are some of those examples?
Well, we have a broad product line. If you go back and look at our board, if you get a chance after this, you'll see that we do not only government and military helicopters, and by the way, we've been in the U.S. Army inventory for over 50 years with our Little Bird aircraft, supporting special operations, light attack scout helicopters. And we do commercial helicopters as well. We do a lot of emergency medical type helicopters. We work with law enforcement in the commercial area. We do utility helicopters. Believe it or not, we have one of the most stable helicopter platforms in the world, and people actually hang off the bottom of our helicopters and maintain high tension, high power utility lines. And it's a crazy thing to see a video of a guy hanging in a basket and working on a 750,000 volt power line. So it's interesting, and because of the growth in China of electricity, we're going up to 1 million. So it's kind of interesting, but really one of the most popular helicopters for that work. So we do a whole host of things, as well as a lot of private users like to fly around in our helicopters, and of course we have NOTAR technology, which makes our helicopters very quiet. And in law enforcement, especially in the nation's capital, they've been flying our 520N NOTAR because it is so quiet for over 15 years, patrols the city at night. We also patrol Beverly Hills, and I have a cute story there. The Glendale Police Department that patrols Beverly Hills, whenever they bring in an alternate helicopter to patrol in the evening, they get about 1 million phone calls from the Beverly Hills folks that don't like the noise of helicopters. Never once do they hear when we're in the air, so we're very quiet. And I'm also proud to say the Mesa Police Department flies our helicopters and just bought a new helicopter this last year. So they're a great customer and a great partner as well.
Well, and I know I'm getting a note here from Sally. MD sponsored the golf ball drop at the Chamber Golf Tournament last year.
Yeah, again, when you have a stable platform, you can drop just about anything from it. So they didn't want us hitting anybody with a golf ball. So yeah, we were happy to support that effort, and we do a lot of things like that as well, around the country.
That's awesome. I live a long way. I live up in the North Valley in Carefree, and once a month when I'm driving down here, I think, man, I need a helicopter.
Yeah,
what would one of those set me back?
When I'm up in Carefree, on my motorcycle, I always think I need to stay away from the police because they're always giving us tickets for being too noisy.
You need that silent technology you have in your, there you go.
Exactly. Look, our helicopters run the gambit. We really go anywhere from about 2 million to 8 to 9 million, depending upon how you configure them. So a guy like you can afford it easily.
I am this Saturday's Powerball away.
You might be able to get a couple if you win that one.
I'll buy me and you one.
Deal. Deal.
Well,
you guys heard that. You guys heard that.
Here's a question. What does it take to get a ride in an MD helicopter?
Well, you just have to call Renee, my staff assistant sitting over here. She's the boss. She's the trail boss, and we'll arrange it. A popular guy like you that's a real famous person, it's not a problem. Senator McCain, now he has a little harder time getting in here. So.
If I were to just start hiking Camelback and get stranded, would I get a ride that way?
Nah, we'd call Bell Helicopter for that. Let them take out here.
That's awesome. Well, I know you have a very unique connection to Mesa's aviation history. Care to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you live long enough to be part of the history of aviation in the town. That's something. But yeah, I graduated from the Air Force Academy, and I went to flight school at Williams Field back in the early 70s, and it was interesting because at the time, and I don't know if folks remember this, Williams Field was one of the busiest airfields in the world. On the basis of sorties flown and aircraft movements, it was literally, for a time during Vietnam, the busiest airport in the world, and we did a lot of flying out there, and it was that was actually my introduction to my now wife of 41 years and the Valley. So it was a great place, and of course there's a history of aviation in the Valley, and MD Helicopters, we're proud to be part of that, but it goes way back to World War II and before in the Valley, as many of you know. And so I'm really, really pleased to see what Mesa and Phoenix and folks have done with the Williams facility, because now it's coming back to life, and it was a great place to learn how to fly and a great place to chase around and at the Officers Club and meet young ladies that wind up spending your money for 41 years. So
it always boils down to that, doesn't it, Craig?
It always comes back to that.
That's a big funnel right down to well, I know MD is a truly international corporation. Are you in all corners of the world? Yeah,
we have helicopters on every continent on the planet, literally. And, Lynn Tilton is our owner and CEO. And, she set about really rescuing this company. I know many of you know the history of it, that MD ultimately split away from Boeing when Boeing acquired McDonnell Douglas. And it went through a little bit of hard times with its first owner when it split out, but Lynn came in, took the company, and really moved us back out into the international market. She's all about jobs in America, and MD has grown under her ownership for the last 10 years. I think there was maybe fewer than 100 people in the company when she took it over. Today, globally, we're about 500 employees. We'll grow by about another 100 employees over the next couple of years. We grew about 100 employees over the last 2 years. That group of people here in Mesa ships product all over the world. We're shipping product, military product into Afghanistan. Mesa, folks that live here in Mesa work in Mesa and build this product. It ships from our dock into Afghanistan, and they're in combat within 2 weeks after they leave our facility. So we're supporting that war effort and the war on terrorism around the world. But we ship, it's funny, on a commercial basis, we ship medical EMS helicopters around the world, into Europe, into Africa, the Middle East, China, into the ASEAN region, which is Malaysia, Indonesia. We're shipping products. So we are everywhere, and the markets are really developing. So MD has a bright future, and we're going to continue to grow on our Mesa footprint.
That's great. Well, you answered one of the questions, how many employees do you have? And the last question I have for you is how many helicopters a year do you guys crank out?
Well, it varies. This year we'll do upwards of around 50 airframes coming out of our facility this year. We're growing, and we've been growing recently really in double digit growth. So we're looking to the future, and finally at a point at MD now where we're introducing new products, new product lines, and actually in both our military and commercial business. So it's a great opportunity, I think, for Mesa. And I'd like to put a plug in for the city, for the mayor, the mayor's office, and the city, and the relationship that we have. Because part of being in Mesa and part of the reason we're here is the ability really to do business and conduct business internationally. and have a great relationship with the folks we deal with at the airport authority and in the mayor's office and in the chamber. And it's been really a huge help to take MD from a company that was struggling to a company that's really back in the forefront internationally with our models of helicopters. So it's been a great relationship, and the employees, and on behalf of Lynn, we really thank the city of Mesa and for the support we get from everybody here and in the city. It's been great.
Well, that's great, and we're glad. We're glad that you feel at home here, and we're glad to have you in Mesa. And I'm really glad you took the time out of your busy day to come in and pop in for us. And
Yeah, this was great.
And now you'd be very, very comfortable.
I learned more about bacon than I wanted to know this morning, so that was good. I like that.
You can never really know enough. Are you guys hiring now? I have a very limited skill set, but is there any position for me possibly?
We're thinking of putting a cafeteria together. Sounds like you have an inside road to that, so that might work.
Maybe we could edit that out, Channel 11. That's a little harsh. That was some kind of a payback for what I said about Mike, I think. Well, Craig, thank you very much, Craig, for stopping by. If anybody has any questions about MD, where do they find you? What's your web presence?
We have a big website, and you can you're all invited to come out to MD Helicopters and stop up to the gate. And after Terry gets done frisking you, give us a call. We'll let you in, show you around. So
awesome.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had a good frisk. Might stop by tonight later on.
Well, we're open all day. We're on 2 shifts.
Smear a little bacon sunscreen on.
I like it. I like it.
Big round of applause, Mr. Craig Kitchen. Thanks you, sir.
Thanks
for coming out.